Hello everyone. I was watching a video recently and where one of the presenters in YouTube itself was showing the decision tree on how to go about choosing which service. Thought let me provide our take, how at Arina Technologies we surveyed a lot of people based on which how we could go about and when to choose a container on AWS. Containers, it's like a lot of in the industry, it is viewed as it's only Kubernetes, but that is not the case. Containers can be used for many things, and this is where the first thing I wanted to show is that for services orchestration, for designing the services, be it like microservices or macro services, it's a micro and macro, it's a difference, which is where we can use containers, and that's pretty popular in using the setup, using the Kubernetes or ECS, something I'll show how it works in the decision tree. So service orchestration is a very good use case for containers. Machine learning orchestration is also very, very popular for containers. Instead of you want to have on a VM deployment, you are better off creating your machine learning model deployed in a container that via pipeline, via CI/CD pipeline, it can be promoted across the environments. That is why containers are very popular, and that I also wanted to show on that one. Web applications. You could use containers where your source code could be on part of the containers, and the different options that are there as part of the setup. If you have service orchestration, what are your options? Like if you want to go, because in an architecture, in an application, you will be faced with a few choices, and especially these could be the major ones that you'll be faced with. You could go with Kubernetes service, which is very popular, where you could have a fully managed service that's scalable. There's a lot of community support that is there, right? So a lot of the load balancing, ingress setup is already part of it. One of the cons is it is very complex. Anytime if you go about setting up a Kubernetes cluster, you'd have to take care of so many things: a node, a pod, kubectl, setup, the ingress traffic, egress traffic, a lot of things you'd have to take care, which is where it is a little more complex setup compared to other options. But of course, with the complex setup, it also has a operational overhead. So what is the other option? You could go with ROSA, which is Red Hat OpenShift service on. This is a third-party service available on AWS, not really a native one, but equally popular, which has been deployed on via OpenShift platforms and a lot of customer appliances that we have worked with. So it is very popular. It's a good option, something that you should definitely know. But the concept is similar to Kubernetes, where you will be having containers, and OpenShift is what will be managing the platform, and this OpenShift is from Red Hat, which is now acquired by IBM. The other option is ECS. ECS is the AWS native option, which stands for Elastic Container Service. In this, you go with the service mesh as well, or you could go with setting up EC2, using a Fargate as part of the setup. You could go with multiple strategies, using capacity provider as part of the setup. It's a pretty popular option. Some organizations that want to be just AWS native, they use it a lot. And now, if for service orchestration, if you don't really have it like a service orchestration requirement, it's not really a micro or a macro service. What is the option? Is it then you will have to see whether it is serverless or is the service going to be provisioned? If the service is serverless, then you need to also see that is the invocation going to be done, or is the processing going to be done in less than 15 minutes? If yes, go with AWS Lambda. So AWS Lambda, it is great for event orchestration, APIs. It is scalable. You can have multiple languages as part of Lambda. You could have Python, you could have Node.js, and there are Java also is equally there. You could have, right? But obviously you don't want to use Java or these heavy languages as part of Lambda. You want to use a light setup. So what is the cons of Lambda? One of the things is 15 minutes execution time. If your application takes more than 15 minutes, you may want to look into other services or wrap your function over a step function. So that's something you may need to look into. And then if the invocation is greater than 15 minutes, you could go with App Runner. App Runner, again, you could deploy applications on containers. And this again, it's also applicable for web applications. You could deploy it. It only supports the ECR repository, Elastic Container Registry. That is only natively from AWS. It's a very new service. An option to consider if you want to go about something more than 15 minutes. So on this same thread, if it is provisioned, like service orchestration, if you need to provision, you have two options. Amazon EC2, which is nothing but a VM, virtual machine. That's AWS marketing way of calling it EC2. Amazon Lightsail. What is the difference between Lightsail and EC2? Lightsail is essentially a VM only. It comes with pre-packaged software ready for you to consume. It is, say, if you want to build a WordPress application, you could easily spin up an application. It'll attach a public IP, and you could get your WordPress application up and running in very less time. But if you have to use EC2, you will have to do the whole setup yourself. You could either have to go with that AMI, which is Amazon Machine Image from the marketplace, spin up the software, take care of the security, patching, the load balancing, the CDN, and the whole setup is what you'll have to do, while Lightsail takes care of you. And this is where the price difference is also there. With EC2, I was doing the cost calculation and comparison. EC2 is almost 1/3 the price of Lightsail. But this is where you have provision or infrastructure that you can spin up for service orchestration. I hope that provides some good decision tree on when to use which service, specifically for containers for service orchestration. For machine learning orchestration, it is a new service, AWS Batch, that is specifically for the machine learning, that one can go and train and have inferencing set up as part of the models. And Batch is one native service that one can look into. And for web applications, you could always go with AWS Beanstalk. This is a legacy system. It's not a system legacy service. I have not seen a lot of applications, a lot of customers recently using Elastic Beanstalk, which is where I'm saying it's legacy. It's only customers who have been on AWS for around 7+ years, and they have been sticking with Elastic Beanstalk. Because if somebody wants to use a newer web application, they are better off going with App Runner, which is what it is also shown. And it is similar to Beanstalk, where you could spin up your infrastructure, but it supports containers. So I hope this provides a good understanding about when to use containers on which category of the application and your different options that are there. Because a lot of times when we talk to customers, they tend to equate containers with Kubernetes, which doesn't need to be always that complex. For your simple applications, you don't need Kubernetes. We could have a robust application architecture with these other services. And there's a reason why these other services are created. So you can hope this is useful for you. The link of the blog is there. You can feel free to use this diagram and drop in a comment if any questions. And please like, subscribe the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.